In the second sub-area, I just wanted to address first, if we can move that down, please, and move that up, the internal evidence. This is something which is acceptable in scholarly circles of Islamic studies, biblical studies, and other, that before you analyze anything, look first as to whether a claim is made internally, whether we deal with authority or authenticity. We're focusing on authenticity. That's the question should come first. Not that this is sufficient, because anyone can write anything and put any evidence in that, but as a beginning point. So the basic question we have here, number one, is there any evidence in the Qur'an itself, from within the Qur'an, that it will be preserved? First of all, we note that we do have explicit and clear statements in the Qur'an that it will be preserved. And the surah and ayah number that you see on the screen, 15:9, is only one example, but it's one of the oft repeated and quoted ayahs from the Qur'an, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks, "Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra wa inna lahu lahafidhun." You must have heard that many times. It is we means Allah. We here is the plural of majesty, not committee of gods. It's we who revealed the reminder. Reminder is a reference to the Qur'an. And it is we, Allah, that we're going to take care of preserving it. Like I said, this is only one. You find other ayat in the Qur'an. وَإِنَّهُ لَكِتَابٌ عَزِيزٌ لَا يَأْتِيهِ الْبَاطِلُ مِنْ بَيْنِ يَدَيْهِ وَلَا مِنْ خَلْفِهِ تَنْزِيلٌ مِنْ حَكِيمٍ حَمِيدٍ. That's in Surah 41. We find evidence also when the Prophet ﷺ used to speed up with recitation after Jibreel, when he dictates the Qur'an to him. He was afraid that he might miss a word. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala assured the Prophet, as we see in Surah Taha, in Surah 20, in Ayah 114, وَلَا تَعْجَلْ بِالْقُرْآنِ مِنْ قَبْلِ أَنْ يُقْضَى إِلَيْكَ وَحْيُهُ وَقُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا. Don't hasten with the Qur'an before its revelation is completed to you, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and say, "O Allah, increase me in knowledge." But there is something also pertaining directly to preservation that we find in Surah 75 in Ayah 16. That's even much more revealing. It says to the Prophet ﷺ, لا تحرك به لسانك لتعجل به إن علينا جمعه وقرآنه. Don't move your tongue in haste concerning it, that means the Qur'an. It is up to us, means to Allah, جمعه وقرآنه, to preserve it and to promulgate it. So as far as the evidence in the Qur'an, these are only examples of many. But in what sense was the promise made in the Qur'an for its preservation? Here we find evidence internally of the dual promise of preserving the Qur'an. First of all, memory, which is even more important, much more important. It is interesting to notice, for example, that in one hadith in Muslim, in Sahih Muslim, it is said that the Prophet ﷺ was told that you will be given a Qur'an لا يمحوه الماء, which will not be erased with water, because that's the way sometimes when they write in something and then they want to clean it, they wash it with water to write again. And some people did not pay enough attention to this, that forget even about any written record of the Qur'an. The promise is that this Qur'an can never disappear. You can burn all copies of the Qur'an in the world. You can erase any manuscript, but the Qur'an would remain. For example, the first citation in Surah An-Nur, Surah 24, we are told quite clearly that the Qur'an would be preserved mainly in the hearts of people. بل هو آيات بينات في صدور الذين أوتوا العلم وليس في كتب. بل هو آيات بينات في صدور الذين أوتوا العلم. The Qur'an is nothing but clear signs in the hearts. Didn't say books, even though writing will come. But that particular one focus in the hearts, sudur, those who are given knowledge. I put that first because I think it's even the more important one. Yet we find evidence in the Qur'an also of its preservation in writing. There are numerous references to that. In Surah Al-Alaq, اقرأ باسم ربك. I know the word اقرأ could mean read and recite, but as you know, in some narration it says that Jibril alayhi salam brought a parchment and asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to read. But if you continue with the first few ayahs in Surah 96, Al-Alaq, الذي علم بالقلم, in the context of the Quran, it says that Allah taught the human with the pen. So that also a reference to writing. In Surah 98, describe the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, رسول من الله يتلو صحفا مطهرة فيها كتب قيمة. A messenger from Allah reciting. صحف means leaves containing valuable books. Describing the Quran in Surah 80 also, that it is بأيدي سفرة كرام بررة, would be written or recorded by the hands of righteous, honorable scribes. So I think, again, that should be quite enough to articulate that second point.